talk about the detainee issue. It was an issue, Jim, that Walter Nichinchuk, the CDS, had asked for a review of some allegations about torture of an Afghan prisoner. And what did we find out? Well,
what we found out was essentially what we all expected to find out, and that was that Canadian troops on the ground in Afghanistan were aware that their Afghans were torturing or beating up or abusing, whatever term you want to use, prisoners once they were turned over to them, that it was in fact common knowledge. Now that wasn't the point of the inquiry. The point of the inquiry was to find out how the Chief of Defense Staff ended up accidentally misleading the Commons Committee by saying, no, we didn't have a report that they were being abused, and then had to reverse himself the next day, which did a lot of damage to the conservative argument. But the real point here, the seminal point, is that the troops on the ground knew that prisoners were being abused once they were handed over. It was common knowledge.
That's not exactly what the report said.
Well,
no, it didn't say that. What it said was they had no evidence of that happened. The one instance where they did see it, they stopped it immediately. They
took him back.
They took him back as soon as they saw them beating this guy. They said they stopped them, and to me, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that the soldiers on the ground acted properly.
Oh, of course they did, but they did say that they understood that it was common knowledge on the streets of Afghanistan.
No, but that wasn't about prisoner abuse. That was what they said, what the report said, and it was misinterpreted by the Canadian press story. And what they said is that the soldiers often saw the Afghan National Police using corporal punishment on people on the whim, on people on the street, but not detainees or prisoners. And it's also important to note is that we don't turn over soldiers to the National Police. Detainees, we turn them over to the Afghan security forces.
Let's get Tina in here. Tina?
Well, it comes back to everything you're saying is right about this, but they did have a belief, almost a routine belief, that that people were being abused. I mean, none of them were surprised by this. I don't think Canadians are surprised by it either, right? You know, they believed, they had a very low view of Afghan authorities, whether it was the police or their soldiers, and they expected to sort of see this kind of thing. But yes, you're right, they hadn't witnessed it. From the defense forces themselves. And here they acted properly, as you're saying. The report sort of got them off on a technicality, in a sense, as to who was actually in charge of this particular detainee at that point. But overall, the troops acted appropriately when they saw what had happened.
Okay, let's go on to another technical